You are listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, and on YouTube.com. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the only wrestling talk show here on WHPC. Welcome to Takedown Breakdown Backlash Review episode. I'm your host, Josh Silverberg. With me, we have most of the crew here. We'll start with Lyle Gillen, freshly squeezed. What's up?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Just finished watching Backlash.
That's good. That's good. And Mr. Scott Nebb is with us on his iPad tonight, not on the computer. He just, location is different. Location is different.
Greatest wrestling show podcast ever. Ever.
Oh, man. I can't wait to do the finisher later. I think you guys are going to like it for sure. But, hope everybody's doing well. It's another pay-per-view. It feels like we've had a lot of them the last couple of weeks between AEW and WWE and NXT. It just feels like it was all close together. But, this is one in the books, and WWE Backlash is all said and done. And we just got finished watching the greatest wrestling match ever. And,
Ever.
Well, I will say this. The match, it definitely wasn't the greatest wrestling match ever. But it was, in my opinion, it was a very good match. I give Edge a lot of credit out of retirement for 9 years. Hasn't wrestled at all. And to wrestle for that long, no less. The other thing I look at, too, is when I look at Randy Orton and he actually puts in the time and the effort into his work, he'll actually give you a good match. But that's up to Orton to decide if he wants to put in the effort. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was good. It would have been even cooler if it was in front of a live crowd. Of course, I tried to dub it with the whole noise and everything like that, which it was kind of cool to hear in the beginning, but then you kind of saw it later on and it was stupid because people weren't clapping at the same time. But you also got the nostalgia of the microphone with MSG and Howard Finkel doing his thing and Charles Robinson wearing the blue shirt. So, Lyle, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on the match itself?
I thought the match was good. I enjoyed the match, but when you label something as the greatest match ever before it happens, it's never going to live up to that hype. Never. They should have just never said that and let it end up becoming a very good match and become a classic. But because they labeled it that, I don't think it will ever become that. The dubbed voice, the dubbed crowd noise was terrible. It was so off. There were times when they were doing this is awesome, and the crowd is just doing nothing. It just made no sense at times, and it was stupid. I didn't like it. It sounded fake. There were a few times when I thought I heard Vicky Guerrero screaming. It was just bad.
Scott?
I don't think this deems any critiquing because it was I still think this was a giant troll on wrestling fans and wrestling critics and people that review the business, piping in the crowd noise, calling the greatest match ever, putting Robinson in this the throwback suit. I mean, they're all nice little touches, but it just felt like a giant troll job.
I think I wore that to a wedding once, what Charles Robinson wore. But go on, Scott.
Yeah. What was that?
I said I think I wore that to a wedding once, but go on.
Oh. Yeah, that's the old school ref shirt is cool, but it just seemed like a giant troll job. The crowd noise, the tagline for the match. So, yeah, it was very great, technically sound. I think any aspiring wrestler could watch the intricacies of this match. And you would never see a crowd at ringside get more hype for a waist lock, though, or a routine.
Yeah, maybe in the golden era.
It was a very generous crowd tonight, guys, for the main event. The crowd really gave them their all.
For sure they did, and I think it's they and I know we've discussed on the show a couple of times what is WWE trying to do with this, and I said I could tell you what they're trying to do with it. They're trying to basically hype up a guy that hasn't wrestled in 9 years that the kids nowadays watch WWE, never saw him wrestle before. And they're trying to get him involved, and they're having him face off against a future legend who's one of the faces of the company. That's what they were trying to do. They're trying to hype it because, look, a lot of the demographics for the WWE, they never saw Edge wrestle. And that's what they were trying to make it as two legends going at it. And I thought it was very unfair to Edge to put that on his shoulders because the guy's been out of the ring for 9 years. And when you do something like that, you're putting all the pressure on this guy because this guy's come back from so much. And it turned out he hurt himself during this match. And the fact that he was still able to put on this kind of performance it's more of a testament. I agree with what Lyle said. If they didn't put the title of the match on it, it would just have it be a regular match and didn't make it anything. It would have been more memorable. I still think it could be a memorable match. We'll see. It was definitely the best produced thing that WWE has done since this whole pandemic started. It was the best produced match they've done. And like I said, even the little things from hearing Howard Finkel's voice to the MSG microphones coming down to Charles Robinson wearing, as Scott said, the old suit, the old referee gear. I mean, it's just like the little things like that. What'd you say?
What exactly did they do with Howard Finkel?
So basically what they did was they brought down the old MSG mic from WrestleMania 1, and they basically had his voice say Edge and Orton's, like, ringing out his name because they had old recordings from him, of course, when he announced their names in the past, which I thought was a cool gesture, and it was nice, and it set up a good intro. I thought the match was only going to be 15 or 20 minutes. It wound up lasting over 40 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I'm curious if Dave Meltzer actually gives it a Meltzer grade. And one thing I wanted to say, and this is for a guy like Brad Shepard. Brad Shepard, I don't care if I name dropped him. I can care less. Brad Shepard said he hates long, tenuous matches, like long matches. He goes, I can't sit through matches this long. And I said to him afterwards, I said, so you hate New Japan then? With a question mark, and he hasn't responded. And he probably won't respond, but New Japan does a lot of these very long matches. So if you don't like a long match like this, then you can't. I just don't think people would be able to sit through. I mean, New Japan is way better than WWE, but New Japan also does very long matches. So. But I thought the match was great. I thought it didn't live up to the name. It was never going to, but they brought the punt back with Orton kicking Edge in the head. I thought that was cool. And I just thought it was entertaining. The rest of the show was blah. I thought Lashley McIntyre was okay, considering that McIntyre almost got paralyzed, thanks to Bobby Lashley. Literally, I mean, he dropped him on his head. I mean, my goodness, it was like watching Goldberg drop The Undertaker on his head. I mean, it was like awful. It's pretty impressive.
That was really bad.
It was scary. It wasn't even bad. It was scary.
There was a tweet that I saw, but he actually did drop him on his head.
Yeah, and the picture showed it. And you could see him. He was grabbing his neck. He was grabbing his neck and his shoulder throughout the match. And then he rolled out at one point during the match, too. So clearly he wasn't feeling right. And then last year, he drops him once, and then he tries to do the move again. And I was like, I'm like, my goodness, I'm like, you're going to kill this guy. You know, Scott, I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that McIntyre-Lashley match?
I actually literally just started that match. I rewinded to it.
Like I said, it was okay. I know Lyle had different thoughts on it.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna go back to the greatest match ever, really quick. But the person you just mentioned before on Twitter, Brad Shepard. I don't know if he found it or someone else found it, but he retweeted a tweet from Kurt Angle from 2011, where Kurt Angle said, "To WWE wrestlers, don't use my finish. Get more creative." Orton. Did I say that? And Orton used the Angle Slam tonight.
Well, that was also in 2011 when I think he left the company on bad terms. That was the thing. He did leave on bad terms at the time when he went to Impact.
I just find it ironic.
Nah, I don't look into it because, again, he was also – the thing at that time, he left the WWE on really bad terms. He was going through a lot of personal issues. Of course, he was, you know, in the process of getting divorced, and he had drinking problems, and there was a lot of mental issues going on with Kurt at the time. Kurt, I'm sure guys look back on old tweets like that. Trust me, I don't think it's that serious that Orton used his finisher, honestly. I don't know. Scott, what's your thoughts on that?
I find it interesting. That's all.
So Orton hit Edge with an ankle slam,
Yeah.
and why someone said he shouldn't do it?
Kurt Angle said it back in 2011
That Orton shouldn't use his move?
that nobody should use his finisher.
I mean, it was used for years beforehand. It's like a Greco-Roman.
Yeah, it is. You're not wrong.
Taz used it. Yeah, Taz used it.
Yeah.
I don't think Angle has the right to that, and I'd be surprised that he even said that. But
Like I was saying, he had a lot of personal issues going on at that time. He left WWE on bad terms. He was drinking issues and divorce, and
it sounds more like Lyle fishing for an issue that's not there. You need some bait.
He might not be wrong.
100% is. I didn't want to say it. Scott said it. We're gonna make Lyle like the WWE official reporter for Takedown Breakdown. I want to see if after the first week if he gets his credentials let back in by Vince. There's no way.
I quit. I'm not even going to start. I quit.
No. This is just a test. I want to see if you actually do like with the reporting, and I want to see if the next week you come back, if Vince McMahon actually lets you back in the building after you tweeted out stuff.
I quit.
Oh man. So, your thoughts on the Lashley McIntyre match, Lyle?
I thought it was very, very boring. I don't like slow-paced fights from big guys. I think it's terrible. It's the stereotypical WWE match for a filler pay-per-view, and I can't stand them. I tone them out. I just can't do it. And Lashley almost killed McIntyre. I hated the match.
Yeah, I mean, I give Drew credit for finishing because, like I said, he got dropped on his neck. He seemed fine afterwards. Personally, I think there's one opponent that I think Drew would do really. I mean, if you look really quick, if you go back to their last match was back in, I believe, 2017. I believe it was. I saw it live. It was on Impact, and it was really good. That was when Lashley beat McIntyre for the championship. And Scott said it best. They should have just used move for move because they do use some of Impact's footage sometimes on some of the stuff, which they did for Kurt Angle stuff and Jeff Jarrett stuff. They used some TNA footage. So they could have just used it move for move and people would have been like, wow, this really is great. This is good stuff. But I don't know. I mean, Lashley in TNA was really good. That was why WWE signed him back. And they've done absolutely nothing like what TNA did. I don't know how TNA can make something work that well, and then WWE has the same material and the same guy, and they just can't do it.
It's just the way they book their matches and the way that they have their matches in general laid out. They're much slower paced. They're more methodical. But not in a good way.
No.
It's just a slower match, which today's wrestling is not. You have to change with the times. And McIntyre's match with Rollins showed that he can have good matches and he's good in the ring. And I don't know why he can't. I don't know why he couldn't do something there. We know Lashley's good. It's just the way they try and bill their guys is not ideal anymore. Where no one wants to see it. It's boring.
I think they have good chemistry. From what I'm saying, I think they have good chemistry together.
That was what a lot of people were saying.
They have no, but my problem was there was no story to the match. Like, why did Lashley get this match?
I mean, the last few weeks he's interrupted him on like the MVP, on like the VIP show with MVP, and MVP became his manager and this and that and everything like that. But I think the perfect, I like what Lyle says with the smaller guys though. I mean, there's been big versus big guys in the past that have had good matches. Like the Big Show and Brock Lesnar many years ago, moons ago, had good matches. I mean, you could go back that far, but it is rare at times when big guys versus big guys have good matches. Like Undertaker Kane had good matches. I mean, it can happen. It's just have to do it. It could go. You just have to build the story correctly and build it up right. I think the perfect guy for Drew McIntyre to get in the ring with eventually, and I think it would really suit him well, is a guy like Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black would be the perfect guy for Drew
That'd be a very good
McIntyre.
match.
I think he's a guy that he's technically skilled. He could be a risk taker, a high flyer. He's also a really good mat wrestler. He's quick. It meshes well with Drew's style of being this big athletic powerhouse that I think it would just – I just think guys like that – like you even saw it with Brock Lesnar. Like when Brock had matches with Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. God bless you, Scott. No, he didn't have a match with – bless you, Scott. You know, with guys like, you know, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, when you had those matches with those, you know, with them, it worked well. The only big guy match I can remember that Brock really had a good run with during his title run was probably Samoa Joe at Great Balls of Fire. That was probably the only good big versus big match that probably Brock had. And we can't remember Great Balls of Fire because of the way that also the logo looks, which is we're not going to touch that subject because that's you know. But
Can you put it up on the screen?
oh no, I'm not touching that. I don't care if you want me to share it or not on the share. I ain't even touching that one. If you want to go look at that, go look at that on the WWE Network. And you tell me you come back on our Facebook or Twitter page and you tell me what it looks like.
It looks exactly what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, exactly. And again, really quick, you're listening to WHBC 90.3, the voice of NASA Community College. This is Takedown Breakdown. It's got Ned, Lyle Gill, and I'm Josh Silverberg. Justin Carasiello out on assignment. We're also on YouTube.com. We're discussing Backlash. And a little bit, like I said, later in the show, we're going to get to the return of New Japan. We have to. Plus, we'll talk. You know what? I think I've done all I can handle with the Backlash review.
Oh,
I don't
my
know about
God.
you guys. Because otherwise,
No, I want to talk more. Can we
I-
talk about the Profits and War Machine
Or the
match?
Street Profits?
if I have to talk any more about Backlash, I'm going to get backlash from the fans if I have to keep talking about this, okay? So we're not going to talk
Okay, then
about
we're
it
talking
anymore.
about it.
NXT
great.
We're
was
gonna talk about
great
it then.
this week.
Yeah, no, and I got a great finisher this week. I have an awesome finisher for you guys this week. It's definitely entertaining. It involves a segment from last week, so that's all I'm going to get into with it. But Scott, by the way, really quick, I did want to give Scott props. He did have the tag team match correct. He said it would be a no contest. He did have that prediction correct.
Yes, I did.
Because the match never even happened.
I don't get it. The referee said your match is next.
Yeah, but then she
Okay,
called.
no match.
Yeah, but then she called him hot. She called what's his name hot though.
But who cares? They said the match was next. Then there was no match.
I will say this though. I will say this, and I got to give him Montez Ford is very funny sometimes. He is very funny sometimes. I give him that.
They are. They're very entertaining.
Oh,
And they're
Montez
great
Ford
in the
is so.
ring.
Oh my God,
Which-
the two tag teams are great in the ring.
Which is why I don't understand this entire feud. Why are you not having them wrestle? What?
It's kind of crazy.
Makes no sense.
If you go on New Japan World and you go back to a couple of years ago and you go and you watch Wrestle Kingdom and you'll see War Machine is wrestling in the Tokyo Dome for the tag team titles.
Yeah.
Okay? And now they're in dumpsters against the Street Profits. With a fake lizard going after them. I don't even know what it was. Was it a lizard or was it like a dinosaur? What was going after them in the dumpster? I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't show it.
Rusev got excited because he said it finally made its long debut.
Was it the dumpster monster from Star Wars?
I don't know. It could be. You might have. It could be. That is a Disney production, though. I don't know if WWE has the rights to Disney Corp, so I don't know. You have to ask them. You know. All right, but let's get into the Wednesday night rivalry. Let's get into NXT, AEW, the good stuff. Also, really quick, Lyle, I like the shirt, freshly squeezed this week.
I've worn it about 10 times.
I know you have. Yeah, that's okay. Scott, you're not wearing one this week, right?
Oh, no, I got comic.
I thought he was going to lift his shirt all the way up.
No, the reason why I wear this is because we do our shows so late at night.
Take it easy,
and it's
Scott.
actually a something I wear to sleep. So I just like put my pajamas on, then I just go to bed with this on. So
That's phenomenal. I tell you, if you meet Orange Cassidy in person, you have to tell him I sleep in your shirt. See what he says. He'll be
I
like this.
will.
He'd be like, also, does anybody watch the show Shot of Brandy on YouTube?
I haven't yet. I want to.
So it's like it's a cooking show that she does, but she makes drinks on the show too, and she has a bunch of AEW superstars that are on it every week. So last week she had Orange Cassidy on it. It was funny because you know how Cassidy is. He's got his funny jokes right there, but he's also quiet. She had Jon Moxley on this week, and I gotta tell you, Jon Moxley would not shut up the entire show. He talked the whole show, Moxley. I look at him on the Stone Cold podcast when he did it for the WWE, and he barely said a word. I said, "What? What?" I don't know, but I want to say my shirt. I have a legend this week. I have Vader this week. So next week I finally got my last shirt. I got my my Terry Funk Hardcore University shirt that I'll show. My Wrestle Crate is shipping out tomorrow.
I got my my new Marty Skrull shirt in and my new Young Bucks shirt in. So
you got another Young Bucks shirt? You have like 5. How many Young Bucks shirts do you have?
If you guys are gonna wear shirts, I'll just rock the socks.
3.
Have a nice day. Folks on the old radio, you can't see I'm rocking Mr. Sacco.
It's Mr. Sacco! What does Vince say? Dang it, leave.
And if Lyle was here, I'd shove it down his damn throat.
But I get my Wrestle Crate ships out tomorrow. I'm actually excited. It's like the tag team box this month, so we'll see. My wife bought them for my birthday. She subscribed me 4 of them, so I got this one coming in, and I got 3 more. So who knows what's even in them at this point? It says that the rival the FTR's in it, so we'll see if that. They only sell the shirts in the crate. They don't sell them on Pro Wrestling Tees. You only get them in the crate. So that's kind of.
I don't know though if they include them in all of them, or if it's more like you have a chance to get X, Y, and Z in there.
No, it tells you on Pro Wrestling Crate what you get, and they tell you every tag team that you're getting in the crate, every item that you're getting, but they don't tell you what each item is. So it could be an FTR shirt, but it could be like the North from Impact. It could be like a signed picture from them, but they tell you exactly which tag teams are in the crate. That they tell you. So like next month is going to be different. I don't know what it is, but who knows? And then after my crates are done, I'm done. Retired from the shirt company. Retired. It's disgusting. I got 2 full drawers.
Yeah, I have way too many wrestling shirts. The walls of my apartment are actually lined with wrestling shirts. It makes up the foundation of my home.
One of them I can't even really wear in public. It's kind of bad. I mean, it's like, but it is what it is. But let's get to the Wednesday night rivalry. Let's get into AEW and NXT. We saw a lot of great action, definitely on both shows between NXT and AEW. NXT has started to build the feud now. They have laid down, I guess, as they say, they've laid down the what's it called? Can't even think of the word right now. It'll come to me later.
Foundation build.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Scott. They started laying down the foundation pretty much of the rivalry between Karrion Kross and Adam Cole. So that is expected to definitely happen sooner rather than later. You also heard Finn Balor call out Keith Lee, which would be, I think, an excellent match with those two. And I would like to see Lee have a redemption kind of match after the Gargano match. And then, of course, on AEW, you had a couple of things. You had FTR make their debut. They went face-to-face with the Young Bucks, which I'm now with Lyle in agreement. I think they have to hold this off. They have to hold off the FTR Young Bucks match till All In. They have to. They have to hold it off till then. I think it's too. I don't think Fyter Fest is big enough to have these two tag teams go against each other. I think you need to have it in a big pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Hopefully the crowds will be back by then, but who knows? Now with these second waves getting hit now in certain states, we don't even know anymore. But like I said, I definitely agree with the point of they got to hold off this feud till September. FTR and the Young Bucks. Don't do it at Fyter Fest. Wait till September. Do it All In. Do it at the big show.
They're going to do something else.
Yeah, they have to. They have. I think it's so necessary because, like I said, NXT before they were on weekly programming, NXT would hold rivalries for months, and then they would wait till TakeOver to have the match, and the match would be phenomenal. And that's what made NXT really special when they had their takeovers, because they would wait 2 or 3 months to have their big matches. They wouldn't just do it on the regular weekly programming, and I think AEW should take that approach. So I'll start with Scott first. Your thoughts on NXT and AEW this week, both shows.
Well, I thought NXT was, which is it's been a while since I can say it. It was a pretty much perfect show, top to bottom. Even you mentioned. I'm not going to re-mention the segment you mentioned.
You can.
The Balor.
It's called reinforcement.
Yeah, but but we predicted the other day that Cole would be defending against Cross would be going right for it. But then all the in between stuff, such as the big moment of Elio Del Fantasma unmasking to review himself as this Escobar dude with has got the other guys. It seems like a solid faction, and they had a nice vignette with Breeze and Fandango highlighting their careers up to this point and everything they've been through, just to drill the fact in that these guys, like Fandango's debut match was against Jericho at Mania.
We were there. We were there, Lyle. I was the only one in that section rooting for Fandango.
That's facts.
Yeah, it's fact.
And going back to AEW, I think I'd be all right with the Bucks and FTR having their first match at Fyter Fest, because neither of them are the tag champs, so you could it's an additional tag team match to have on that 2-week card, because it's 2 week long. Because you got the belts are on Hangman and Omega, so that's one tag feud, and this would be another one, and they could have a great match. And I have enough faith in these two teams that if they had a rematch in September, now the fans that really may not have known who FTR is, or maybe some new fans who may not be too hyped on the Bucks, will see this first match, be so into it. Then you wait this 5-6 months till All Out, and then you can have the rematch, and then everyone's really bought into it. And I have enough faith in these two teams that they could have 2 matches unique of themselves where they both be good. And I think they are going to go right into it at Fyter Fest. I don't think they could help themselves. I think they're going to go right into it.
No, that's very true.
If they do it, it's probably going to, I would say night 2. And it probably main event night 2. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you would do it night 1. Yeah, you got to say something. You got to say something for the second night. I don't know. Lyle, your thoughts on both shows?
I thought NXT was very good from the parts that I saw. I will admit was not able to watch the entire show. The same part, I can agree with what Scott said. The El Phantasmo demasking was good, along with the Cole segment. I think Scarlett's one of the best valets in wrestling.
Oh, I think she might be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that right yet, because she's still only been doing it for about a month in NXT. But I thought it was a very good show, and I hope they keep it up. Now, I personally think the entire masking, not demasking, demasking, when they remasked El Phantasmo at the start of the Cruiserweight tournament was terrible, because in AAA he lost his mask.
I love Lyle.
Then they took it, then they put it back on him, which you're not supposed to be doing.
I love Lyle. He said something great, but this sucked. I love it. I love it. He couldn't help himself.
If they were going to take it back off, what was the point of breaking Lucha Libre rules to put it on?
Because that's Lucha Libre rules.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
they
point.
don't follow.
That's a great
they
point.
Don't respect any of that. They respect none of it.
Brother, go back to WCW when Juventud Guerrero unmasked himself and Rey Mysterio unmasked himself.
Yeah, Mysterio was unmasked in WCW.
Yeah, he looked like a freaking child. He looked like a freaking child.
He did on ECW too, though.
Yeah,
and they did honor the tradition. Really, he came in, did the tournament, and he took it back off right away. I don't think the Lucha historians will be too insulted by this one.
Well, no, they were pretty mad that he wore it in the first place.
Oh. You represent the Lucha community.
No, I've been following on Twitter when they were going. Everyone was complaining about him wearing the mask.
I do
I
have
don't know
to
what
ask,
happened to Josh.
I'm right here. Sorry. I do have to ask the question. And how did it's just really it's funny because I know Hangman Page drinks a lot, but even he was able to functionally ask Tony Khan this question. How is it that QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes got a title shot? What happened? I thought the rankings meant something.
I think what they're trying to do, and I fully agree with what Hangman was saying.
Yeah, because he thought it was stupid.
I think what they were trying to say was when they they won number one contendership. They won the number one contendership for Fyter Fest. But what's the point of that if now they have to defend the number one contendership?
See, now you confuse me even more now. See, now I made it worse.
Dude, they're defending it.
I know they are.
The late sex
Because
gods.
late sex gods, which is I don't even understand.
Speaking of confused, wasn't Tozawa released? Kira Tozawa?
No, he actually was not. He actually was not one of the guys. Yes.
Well, thank God, because if they did release him, he wouldn't have been able to form this biker gang. My bad. Back to you.
I gotta tell you, I thought it was some Dragon Ball Z stuff they were doing. Am I right, Lyle?
This ninja.
No, don't insult Dragon Ball Z. Don't insult them.
Am I right?
That was so bad. And I thought it was so racist what they did. They had an Asian guy, and then they had him all dressed up as ninjas.
They've done worse.
Like,
now that's racist. Now we're getting into racist stuff.
No, we're not. We're gonna stay off that topic. We're definitely doing. Because we're gonna stay off that because somebody's gonna say something they regret later. What did we all think of FTR's debut? Did we enjoy it? Did we think it was what we expected? Were we underwhelmed? Lyle, your thoughts?
I thought it was a great match. I loved it. I thought that Butcher and the Blade was a great first opponent for them because they both have a similar style. I very much enjoyed it. Now, they're setting up the match with them versus the Young Bucks. And if you go look back at some Young Buck matches, they face War Machine. War Machine is very much not a same style as the Young Bucks. They're not a strong style. They're different.
High risk takers, high flyers.
Yeah, they're not that style. And Young Bucks had a very good match with them too. So people who say, "Oh, the Young Bucks, all they do is jump and flip and dive and do a spinnerini in the air."
Who says that?
I'm making fun of the people who don't watch them and then
talk
crap about
I was
them.
gonna say the people that say that. I mean, come on, they gotta get.
They're pretty stupid.
Yeah, well, they gotta get with it.
I think that they're gonna show everything that they have ever said about them wrong when they have that match because they can do everything, and I am very much looking forward to it.
Scott, what were your thoughts on the FTR debut?
I thought it was pretty good. What happened to the bunny?
Thank you. I said
money.
So I said that. I said that to Lyle the other day. I said, is she not with them anymore? Because now she's with QT Marshall all the time. That was so random how she did. But I think it's a ploy.
I think the point is that she's going to turn on them.
But she's not with them.
Yeah, people bought their T-shirts with her on it.
It's all a
ruse.
Yeah, it's all rigged. She's going to turn on them because
she's not with them. She wasn't out there with them. She was with QT Marshall. She's not with Butcher.
She's going to turn on QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes.
I just don't understand it. She was back. Thank you.
When did this happen?
When did this happen?
She start going to them?
It was on Dark. She was at ringside and he got distracted.
I don't want to watch Dark.
Because Butcher and honestly, Butcher and Blade are actually a good tag team, and I feel like they've made them into looking like the last few jobbers the last few weeks.
I'm 65 years old. I don't know what YouTube is.
Where's that? What's that? What's that team? Hybrid. What's that team? Hybrid.
HQ.
Where are they?
Or THQ.
Where are they? Where did they go? Why doesn't even know where they went?
I don't know.
They had like a little bit on BTE for 2 weeks, and then they vanished again.
Yeah, I saw them. They were here last week, and I said, "Wow, that's the first time I've seen them since last year's Double or Nothing."
I'm not sure.
So,
I haven't seen them since Double or Nothing.
how
last
many
year.
people watch Dark each week on average? Well, like 100,000 people. What is like?
I think it's about 10,000 watch it live.
All right, and we got how many people watching AEW each week right now? 600,000.
It was this. So this was
About 700,000.
Okay, on average. So how are they expecting everyone to keep track with these storylines? They're just gonna run stuff out.
Oh
there?
no, you're right. You're right. They shouldn't be doing major storylines on Talk at all.
And speaking of
Nothing should be on
numbers,
there.
Total Bellas beat.
I was just gonna say that Scott.
and
Total Bellas outdrew both AEW and NXT this week.
People love those Bellas.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. AEW had 67,000, NXT had 65, and Total Bellas had 69,000. That's bad. This is not. Let's just call a spade a spade. This is not the way both AEW and NXT, I think, envisioned the viewership numbers were going to be at this point.
Somebody made a very good point on. I think it was on Twitter. With this pandemic, and so many people getting laid off, cable was one of the first things to get cut. So I very much believe that a lot of people cancel their cable, and it's not in households right now. So
I don't have cable.
People are getting jobs back. I think viewership will start going up again.
I watch on the TNT and USA apps.
That's the thing. You can watch on their apps, can't you? And that's
Yes,
the viewership.
but you don't have. Yeah, but you're not watching live. You can also watch it free.
No, I'm
on BR Live, I believe. I believe BR Live has every Dynamite episode on there.
I
On
watch
Friday.
it live. If you have a buddy's or family member's cable subscription, you can log in and watch.
Oh no, you're right, but that doesn't count
In
towards
USA.
the live viewership.
I think it does.
No,
Wait,
it does
apps,
not.
The apps don't count towards the live. It has to.
They
If you're
don't
watching
count.
live, they're
Yeah, if you're
factoring
watching
in-
No,
live
they
and
don't.
you're getting it,
They don't count.
because you're
they don't
watching the
count.
same advertisement, so that they want to add.
It does not count. It's different.
It's not
If you're not
Nielsen.
watching on cable box on TV, that's what they count.
Well,
the
that's
streaming
pretty
app
bad
does not
and
count.
stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Because if I watch TNT on PlayStation View or Fubo, it does not count either. That's separate.
Well, I don't have cable, and even if I could afford it, and even if I had a lot of surplus income, I probably still wouldn't get cable because I'll never use it.
Yeah, I'm getting Fubo TV when I'm without.
Even that, I wouldn't use that enough. I can log into all these apps nowadays. It's a la carte. If you really want something, I subscribe for the month, and then I unsubscribe. And then if I end up wanting it the next month, I'll subscribe again.
Right. So
Smart.
this is good. So we're gonna have our special guest next week. Will be one of our local TV providers. They'll come on next week and discuss what they think the idea should be about viewership.
They're just gonna come on and say, "We own you. You know you're coming back."
No, because it's true.
Like that South Park episode.
Oh my God! Yeah, what do you think? Oh, well, you're gonna go to that cable company. But it's so true, though. It's like, but I mean, Scott makes a fair point, and if this is true what Lyle's saying, if they don't count that towards viewership, then that's really stupid. I think you should take as many numbers as you possibly can if you're both AEW and NXT. Take that and make it look better for yourself and for your
I
company.
don't think it's measured by cable companies.
I don't know who's it measured by then.
No, it might be measured, but not immediately. They might get that a little while after. Like DVR recordings, they don't count towards that either. Even though you're not watching live. If you're not watching live on cable, so that doesn't count either.
I don't know. Well, regardless, Total Bellas was able to outdraw. But wait a second. Hold on a second. If people don't have cable, how are they watching Total Bellas then?
Wait, what?
You said
E.
so. He's not a local channel provider.
It's all network. It's all cable.
It's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, E is for basic cable. The E network is for basic cable.
No. It doesn't matter. But that their target audience is different. They're not targeting wrestling fans.
You're
They're
right.
targeting
But most of you that are watching are wrestling fans.
Total Bellas.
I very much don't believe that.
I think they've carved out their own audience. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right.
But I
Yeah,
do think
they're separate. They're targeting the same people who are watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They're not targeting.
the Bellas, I think, have their own fan base outside of wrestling that follow those shows. Or two.
I don't know. Regardless of the fact, I thought Scott, like I said, I was going to say the same point. I think it's interesting when we see just the viewership of the both brands. But, all right, so we got about, and again, you listen to 90.3 WHBC, the voice of Nassau Community College, and on YouTube.com. This is Takedown Breakdown. We got about 15 minutes left of the show. So we have to get to our finishers today. We have to, because I have a really good one. So, but we'll get to that a little later. Let's discuss New Japan coming back. And the big announcement that was pointed out last week that New Japan will be having their first show Monday, Monday, June 15th will be their first show that they have on New Japan World. I believe that's what they said they were going to do. It was coming back then.
Yes, Monday is the project. It's being announced at bell time.
Wow. Okay. So they're keeping you. And what time is it at Eastern time?
6 a.m.
It'll be 6 a.m. still. Okay, so they're doing the same thing as they're
That's
doing.
That's usually when I wake up and watch Korean baseball, but maybe I'll make that tomorrow.
Now you have a choice. Get excited, Scott. Who would have thought you would have had endless? Who would have thought you would have had endless choices at 6 a.m.?
Oh, my foreign overseas content. I love this pandemic.
But I know for a fact that obviously you're going to see certain guys that aren't going to be there that are obviously unable to travel right now, such as the Will Ospreys, the Jay Whites, Tongas, Tangaloas, Juice Robinson, John Moxley. You know, those guys can't perform, but you still have really top-notch superstars. Okada, Naito, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiromu Takahashi, Taiji Shimori, and there's even Zack Sabre Jr. is still there, Minoru Suzuki. So they still have an endless amount of guys that can perform on the roster. How well do you think New Japan is going to do with them coming back to Monday? I'll start with you, Scott.
It's all wait and see, I think, when it comes to wrestling shows. Other combat sports, such as MMA and boxing, I don't think have missed a beat. I think you can tune into those programs, and it's very fluid because it's a sport, and it's very watchable. And because New Japan's always presented as more of a sport fashion, maybe you won't miss the crowd too much. Maybe the way they lock up, the way they present it more of MMA or boxing, I think maybe it'll be nice to watch. But it's all wait and see. Just have to see how it feels. But I think they can pull it off.
Lyle?
I agree with Scott. Yeah. I agree with him.
Use your own words, though.
I like wrestling.
You ever get
exactly.
That? You ever get that in high school? They ask you to read for a paper. You have to read a book, and you have to say in your own words what you thought of the book. You know what? It goes to the point of we have to wait and see how this all plays out. And I'm kind of curious if this has a ripple effect because we have to remember Impact is doing it also. Impact's been doing it. Obviously, a lot of people can't watch Impact because it's on Access. So a lot of people don't get access. But they've been doing it. Of course, WWE's been doing it. AEW's been doing it. I'm curious how New Japan is with it as well because the crowds in Japan are so vital for New Japan. That's the thing. They really are. It's certain spots or certain wrestlers, the crowd is very much needed for certain shows. And I'm kind of curious how New Japan goes about it with this, especially with a couple of, I mean, they still have a loaded roster, but there are a couple of their top stars that are still missing. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. And then, of course, you got the New Japan Cup on Tuesday that starts. I'm curious how they fill that out for sure, because it is interesting the names that are in it. So you definitely want to check that out. And I think we said we were going to eventually do like a preview kind of thing, possibly for the Cup, or are we not? Should we just give like who we think is going to win now? And
No,
why?
I would love to. Do like our own March Madness bracket for it. I think that would be great.
I mean, we only have like 2 days to do it, though.
Oof.
That's tough.
Do it tomorrow night. We'll put it up on our YouTube.
I actually can't do it tomorrow night. That's the unfortunate thing. Yeah. So I mean, but it's like, look. I think what we could do is we could say who we think is gonna win, but what we could do is we could post our brackets on like the Twitter page and the Facebook page. I think we could do it that way. I don't think that's a terrible idea. Thank you, Scott. I know.
I think it'll come down to Okada and I.
No, I think it'll be I think it'll Bushi, and I'll say Bushi and Okada again, and then I think Ibushi will end up winning, and it'll be Ibushi 903 at Dominion.
Can I throw a sleeper? Who I think is gonna win?
Sure.
Can I say Hiromu?
You can if you want
I mean,
to.
I'm looking at Hiromu's side of the bracket. He's 100% getting to the Final Four. I don't care what he has on his side of the
What's
bracket.
his bracket?
He's got Toji Makabe, Yota Tsuji, Tomohiro Ishii, El Desperado, Toru Yano, Jado, and he's facing Toaki Hanma in the first round. He said, who's going to beat him on that side of the bracket?
This is the greatest show.
No, last week's show was definitely the greatest show. Last week's episode was one of the greatest episodes ever. I heard some friends of mine that aren't even wrestling fans that actually had to tune in and watch. They were like, "What?" They were like, "That was phenomenal." It was just a joke.
I just saw it. They did that tribute with the Howard Finkel introducing Edge and Orton, like you guys said, but they piped in that stupid Greatest Showman music over it as they were doing it.
I didn't even realize that.
I didn't realize that either.
But wait, can we all agree that on that side of the bracket, I think Hiromu's going to get to the finals? Not to the finals, to the semis.
I need to see it.
Yeah, can you bring up the bracket?
Do it for a big run.
You want me to do a shared
Bring up the
screen?
bracket. Yeah.
Real quick if you can.
All right, hold on. Let's get it. Can we see it? Can we see my screen?
Yeah, I can
Yep,
see
I
it.
can. Awesome.
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Actually, I
Hiromu,
don't see why we wouldn't be able to post this. We definitely could.
you definitely can. Hiromu has
Nobody in his side of the bracket. Yes, absolutely. That's why I picked him, Lyle. That was why I said sleeper. Oh,
him and Ishii could definitely get there.
Stop. Ishii's not getting to the finals.
They'll be in the Elite Eight. They'll be in the Elite Eight.
He's being Tomohiro Ishii. I don't care. Come on. He's one of the hottest superstars in the company right now. They're gonna have to lose to Tomohiro Ishii.
Nobody. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying don't pass him up.
Where's Okada? Where's Naito?
Okada's in the bottom bracket.
Where is he? He's right here where my mouse is.
Okay.
He's got Gato, Nagata, Minoru Suzuki, Yuya Umura, Yoshinobu Kanemaru. I actually said that name right. Wow. Gabriel Kidd and Taiji Ishimori.
Where's
So I would
Naito?
say if I got an Okada Ishimori match in the Elite Eight, I'd be very happy with that.
I don't see Naito. Is he not in it?
No, Naito's in it. Where is he? Oh, no.
No, he's not. He's the champion.
That's why he's the champion. The winner gets the championship match. So that's another guy. There's another guy. Hold on, let's see how much time we have. Give me a minute. Oh, all right. We got to get to our finishers in like 2 minutes. I would say Ibushi definitely has a point. I think Ibushi will fight Tanahashi here on the first. I think Ibushi wins. I am excited for this first round match, though. Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes, that's gonna be a great match.
That's a rivalry that I think Lyle and I have mentioned on our show for quite some time. We thought that a rivalry would start between the two, and it never happened. And I'm curious if now it's going to happen. And then on the bottom is interesting. There's no heavy set there's no heavy favorite.
Goto.
But is he a heavy favorite?
In that bracket, yeah.
You think over
it's gonna be
You think over
the
Yoshihashi?
The final four is gonna be Goto, Ibushi, Okada, and Hiromu.
You don't think Evo can get out of there or Yoshihashi?
I think Goto is gonna be the one that gets out of it.
I guess. It is it's a very fascinating how this is all going to be. I'm very curious. You know? But it definitely should be good. Is it going to be the greatest match ever?
Yes.
No, definitely not. Okay.
They got big shoes to fill.
I really want to know if Meltzer gives us a rating. I really want to know.
Probably.
Oh, he has to. No, because Meltzer skips a lot of matches all of a sudden lately. I've looked. I'm kind of curious. Does he have the gall to give them 5 stars?
I thought it was 4.5.
I think it was close to 5. I really thought it was a very close 5-star match. You could make the case it was 5 stars. Considering the guy came out of retirement and another guy is already a legend in the business. I mean, I have a guy that's come out of retirement after 9 years, tear his tricep during the match, and still go 40 minutes. I think that should give you brownie points.
I don't think a 5-star match is possible if you don't have a crowd.
Yeah, probably. Well, no, they did have a crowd. Didn't you hear them?
Oh, I did.
Bro, they did. Did you? Come on. All right, so we have about 5 minutes left. I want you guys to I can see how Scott is so motivated tonight. It's the funniest thing. I've heard him yawn 4 times, lounge on his couch 5 times. The greatest.
You heard him lounge on his couch?
Seen him, I should say. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Because I know the greatest match took all the energy out of him. So.
Oh yeah.
All the screaming and woo!
All right, so let's get to our finishers now because mine's gonna take a little bit of time. So, Lyle, I guess, or Scott, who wants to start first?
So Lyle go, so I can think of one.
Scott wants to go first.
Just pick.
Scott wants to go first.
Lyle wants to go first.
Scott does.
No, seriously, somebody. All right, Lyle, you're going
Fine,
first.
I'll go first.
Thank you.
I'll go first. Okay, so there's been a lot of NXT rumors about call-ups, and I'm actually very worried because a couple of years ago they did this where they had a bunch of guys get called up at once, and it hurt NXT a lot. And I'm very worried that they're going to do that again, and that they're going to take guys from the main roster and put them down there who have no business being in NXT. I think it's going to really hurt that entire brand for a little bit of time. And I really hope they don't touch that and don't do that at all.
I would like them to stop recycling old segments line for line that Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, that Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels literally did the exact same segment about 10 years ago. And I did not like that they have to bring Jeff Hardy's real life issues so much into the forefront. Who pees that much in one jar? Who pees so much in one jar, honestly?
Nobody. It's apple juice.
Don't tell it was apple cider vinegar. Don't tell anybody.
And how did they do the drug test if he spilled all the piss on him? How did he still go back and do the drug test?
You're not allowed to say piss, okay?
No, you can.
Not
Right.
PG.
Okay. So, my finisher, I have a good one this week. I got
Is this
these
the greatest finisher ever?
No, I got these at the supermarket today.
Oh.
These
Ooh.
are the WWE Ice Cream Bars.
I want one.
Well, we're going to see how one tastes first before I say anything. Okay? Now, I'm not going to... Now, we're not going to... Look, see, on one side, it's interesting. On one side, it's John Cena. So you can't avoid him. And the other side, it's Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Dig it.
Right? So it's like it's not even a I don't know. It's not even like an ice cream bar, it's just a sandwich. And they were like $3.50, $4, and you get 4 of them in a pack, so like $1 a sandwich, which is actually a pretty good deal. I thought they were gonna be like $7, honestly. I was really expecting it to be like $8. Like no, like they sell like the Disney World Mickey Mouse ice cream bars from Disney World for $9, and you get a pack of 4 at the supermarket.
Oh, I miss those with like the fudge here.
Yeah, but they're $9 and you get 4 of them in a pack. That's crazy. They can really feel like you're going to Disney World with those prices.
Can you really put a price on nostalgia, Josh?
That's a good point. I've used that word a lot the last few weeks, this nostalgia. All right, so let's see how this is. I didn't get a card, by the way. I didn't get a trading
That's how
card.
you know you're getting old.
Yeah.
Wait, has the ice cream come down to a low enough temperature where you're not going to get brain freeze?
That's a possibility. I'm just disappointed I didn't get a Sunny trading card in the pack. No wonder why they're called Good Humor, because this is humorously terrible how they promote these things. I mean, seriously, this is like a 3.5. It's just like it's an ice cream sandwich.
Wait. You gave it a 3.5. If it was in the Tokyo Dome, what would it be?
Probably a 2.
Solid 4.
Probably 2 because I'd be disappointed. or in the Meltzer raise, I give it 1.5 Meltzers. This is like, but it's literally just like it's vanilla ice cream and like a graham cracker.
Yeah, it looks like it could use hot fudge, M&Ms.
Like
totally
the old one
different
used to
right in the
have.
middle.
I mean, I'm gonna eat it. I got 3 more in the freezer, so I'm gonna eat it still. Because then my wife's gonna kill me. She's gonna be like, "Why'd you want these in the U.S.?" Just to think, we almost bought 2 of them. God, thank God we didn't. All right, so I won't be buying these again. But it was good to try it. You know, so if you want to go out there and get yourself some WWE Ice Cream Bars, you always can.
So
I will pass.
Haagen-Dazs is now a sponsor.
No,
Yes.
Good Humor.
Haagen-Dazs is better, though. We
Sorry.
want Haagen-Dazs.
All right. All right, everyone. Listen, thank you all for listening. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your week. Hopefully you all enjoyed the greatest match ever. Hopefully you liked our
I
show.
know I sure did.
It wasn't worth a boo, Lyle. It wasn't worth a boo. It's just the name of the title was worth a boo.
Yes, that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were booing the match. I mean, poor Edge. Poor Edge got so much stuff put on his shoulders for this match. It was crazy. Also,
So
really
did
quick,
Randy.
yeah, but Edge has been out of the business for 9 years. Hey, go out there and be the greatest match ever.
Yeah.
Come on.
Randy has been talking crap about that title on Twitter.
Because
I love
Randy,
it.
this also proves to everybody's point. Randy Orton is indeed one. He is still top notch in the business, and if he puts effort in and he tries, he'll give you a really good match. But there's times he just folds it. He just folds it in. That's the problem with him.
No, it's because for like 6 years in a row they made him a face, and he can't be that.
Hey, he doesn't like it.
And
He hates it.
he can't wrestle like that.
Exactly. All right, guys. So we'll talk to you next week. We'll see what foodie review I do next week. Maybe I'll get the WWE waffle. Maybe I'll get the WWE waffle maker, and I'll review that.
You gotta share though.
God, those are like $50, so I won't be buying that. All right, everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Enjoy. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye. Good night. Bang.